Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of the BinkCast Podcast. My name is David. I'm one of your hosts today, and joined with me is my other co-host, Ben. Ben, how's it going today, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Doing well, doing well. We're super pumped to launch this weekly podcast. It's something that we've been thinking about doing for a while now. So if you are a Toronto sports fan or just a sports fan in general, this will definitely be the show for you. We will be primarily focusing on hockey and basketball because those are our strengths, I would definitely say. But throughout the year, we will also be talking about some other noteworthy sports moments for other sports as well. So the goal for this is to have episodes that last anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes maybe more, sometimes less. And today, our primary topics will be some sports news that's been happening in Toronto this last week, a segment where I'm going to be testing Ben's knowledge on real versus sports fake team names, and we will be closing out by predicting where we think each playoff team will rank in the NBA and NHL playoffs.
That's right.
All right, so first we'll jump right into the Toronto sports news. So Serge Ibaka was suspended on March 11th for a fight he got into with the Cleveland Cavaliers' Marquise Chris and got a 3-game suspension. Meanwhile, Marquise Chris only got 1 game. So Ben, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, when you look at the video footage, it's clear to me that Ibaka definitely was the aggressor in the issue, and I think that the 3-day suspension versus 1 for Marquise Chris, I think it makes sense to me. Both end up fighting, but I do think that since Ibaka initiated the contact and it was pretty aggressive, if you go back and watch that footage, I think 3 games is deserved for what he did. He's got a temper and needs to keep it under control, and I think 1 game for him wouldn't be as much of a warning sign as 3 games was.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You can definitely tell that he went to choke. Ibaka went out to choke out Chris, even went for the neck directly. And some facts that I found was this is actually Ibaka's 3rd suspension since 2017 for fighting.
Wow.
So that's purely fighting is the only reason for him to get suspended, which I totally think is something that can be handled on his part and needs to be, because ideally he'd be either a starter or a 6th man for a championship squad in this Toronto team. So it's something that I think for the team's success, he needs to definitely be able to control his temper and handle everything like that.
Yeah, and I like the idea. I don't know if it's implemented, but I'd love the idea of repeat offenses, sort of adding up to more and more suspension time, or more and more punishments, just to really from engaging in that sort of contact.
Yeah, for sure.
If Serge, I think the next time Serge gets called for fighting and gets into a fight, it should be even more than 3 games. Just to add up, and that should apply to every other player in the game.
Oh, I totally agree. I love that idea of the repeat offense, because I think professional sports is somewhere that needs to be pretty much the most sportsmanship related guys, because that's what everyone's going to be able to see. Because I know that what you were talking about, the repeat offense, is something that actually happens in the NHL, because I know Matt Cook, a few years ago, he got in a lot of trouble for purposely doing dirty plays, and there were times where he's getting suspended for up to 20 games at a time. Wow. Because of that repeat offense act. Yeah, I can't find the exact logistics now, but I know it was getting pretty serious there. But yeah, I love that idea. But even for Marc Gasol in these next few games, I think this definitely gives some potential for him, would you say? Because he's going to be getting some more minutes.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Marc Gasol to be stepping up as the starting center for however long Ibaka's out for. And I think if he proves himself, he'll probably take over for a while. I know Toronto has been, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but I know that Toronto has been trying to really mesh their new additions in with Jeremy Lin and Marc Gasol, as well as Patrick McCaw, really try to get them playing well together and not so much focusing on mainly just trying to build chemistry between these guys before we head into the playoffs.
Oh, for sure. I had the exact same stuff written down, just where it's ideal for Gasol to get more minutes, because when we traded away Valanciunas for him, it's the goal that we would be able to have him as the new starter. So if we're able to have Gasol some more minutes, have him gel with the team a little bit more, especially going into the playoffs, I think that it would be very beneficial for the Raptors to have him in there. So though there may be some pluses with Ibaka being suspended, that's the type of guy, if you're paying him $20 million, you'd want to be able to have him playing as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's been playing for a while, so he's got a lot of good knowledge. And I think I'd love to see him play more and more and sort of become not in the same way that Valanciunas was, because Valanciunas was here for many, many years, but sort of pick up that that's the Toronto big guy. That is our. Oh,
for sure. And I think his atmosphere is great to have in the city. You see Jack Armstrong is going crazy when he gets a block. He has his thumbs down that he loves doing. So the people love him as well, for sure. So we want to have him playing both because it's fun to watch, and he's definitely one of the key contributors for the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So then I guess we can move on from there, I'd say. we got
Yeah.
our thoughts out on there to where it sucks how he did it. It could be good for Gasol moving up, but coming in the playoffs times, you need your star players to play, and fighting is just something that's isn't needed at all in professional sports.
No, it's unnecessary, and like it doesn't really there's no benefit whatsoever to fighting at all. You get suspended, then you're out, and maybe you get the crowd riled up, but I don't think that's the right way.
Yeah, for sure. Your team's definitely going to need you, so it's just the unnecessariness of the fighting is what really gets me more upset. That he's just sort of thinking of a selfish manner. For sure. So next we can move on to Morgan Rielly, to where I'm sure this happened March 11th as well. It was the Monday night they were playing against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And there was an accusation on him using a homophobic slur towards the referee because it was something that was caught on a video. So then, Ben, what do you think about that?
I think people were very quick to jump on him for that. Understandably, it is if that the slur was said, let's assume hypothetically it was for this instance, then it's unprofessional, it's unacceptable, it's just not a right way to handle yourself. However, I just think that since there wasn't a whole lot of initial proof, and it as obviously 100% confirmed as other things have been, I think people were very quick to jump on him rather than trying to hear him out or sort of dive deeper into the situation and see what happened.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. Because especially I was on Twitter that night and people were jumping on the bandwagon right away of being super upset at him and demanding being banned from the league, never being able to play again without really much explanation, I thought, right?
Yeah. I think if people had jumped on that and we hadn't sort of gotten to the bottom of it, I think it's been disproven.
Yeah.
Where we're at right now. It's totally disproven. the referees denied it, and the league has sort of they found him not guilty, I guess you could say. But I think if they had sort of jumped right on the way, it sets a really bad precedent for any other sports league, that the moment someone says anything that could be taken as potentially offensive, that person gets eradicated from their league, or they get suspended or whatnot, without actually diving deeper in and seeing what the actual truth was. I think that sets a bad precedent. I understand that we do need to be limiting and completely homophobic or any just disrespectful language, but at the same time, if you don't actually dive deeper and find out what actually was said, then you're sort of just dismissing people on hearsay. Yeah,
for sure. It's I totally agree with you to where that type of speech should not be welcome in any professional sports league. We're at the point now to where that's very disrespectful to use, without a doubt. But after I was watching some TSN videos and doing some research to where if you actually watch the video, it's a completely different tone of voice. Did you end up watching the video as well?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, because you can tell he's very upset. He's very loud. He's screaming. Meanwhile, the other voice, it's still loud, but it's not necessarily in the same anger sense. Would you agree?
No.
Yeah.
I would agree.
To where, again, if you listen later in the video, there's an obvious R sound that comes out. Rag, rag, rag is something that we hear. I think it became from somebody from the other team, because after some research, that term actually means hold the puck, eat it against the boards, make sure you maintain possession. Yeah. So that would definitely make sense, because at the time, Tampa Bay was killing a penalty, so they want to try to hold it against the boards to try to limit the power play time that they would have. And also, based on some, after the NHL had their investigation, it's actually a match penalty and suspension if the ref that was 5 feet away from him would have heard a homophobic slur.
Yeah. Oh, I think the ref would have jumped on it very, very quickly, rather than sort of just letting it slide. Because I think Ryan Getzlaf was fined in 2017 for using a slur against a referee.
Yeah, where I totally agree. To where it's in the moment, to where the ref that's really close to him, he would be the one that would be able to hear it. Nope,
and he'd make that call.
For sure, he didn't make the call. So I like to think that means that he didn't say the word as well. But I also, on a different scheme of things, I applaud the professionalism of the Toronto Maple Leafs organization.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Because they didn't make Morgan Rielly didn't tweet anything saying that he didn't do it. They didn't get upset. He knew what he said. So throughout the league's initial going into it, what's the word? Investigation, there it is, of the event, he knew what he said, so he knew that everything was going to be fine. So, Kyle Dubas, good on you to make sure that everybody's staying quiet, for sure.
Yeah, Morgan Rielly handled it professionally, too. I think he went right back to the arena and went to go sort out the issue rather than sort of letting it fester and not provide comment. He went right back to address it head on, which definitely shows the integrity he has and
for
like
sure.
the understanding he has for how serious of an issue that is, and he just wants to get, I guess, clear his name, but also make sure that people are understand that he's a good guy.
Yeah, for sure. And so I also think that didn't he say that he was going to march in the Pride Parade in Toronto? That's in the next week or two?
Yeah. I think he did make a comment about that.
So
and the Leafs had recently, they used, if I remember correctly, they had like rainbow colored hockey tape on all of their sticks, either for the game or for practice, just sort of as like an community. So
wow, yeah, that's really definitely good on them. So even that was beforehand. So
it was
just a miscommunication of things. People jumped on the gun right away, even though taking in some more research, even just listening to it over and over again, you'd be able to hear that obvious R sound instead, and you would be able to just tell the different tone of voice as well. I thought it was completely different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, just a quick side note, how about that Flyers comeback Friday night? That was Friday, right? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was Friday.
Yeah.
I was
we were watching that together. Yeah. That was amazing.
That was thrilling. I think it was in the second period we were down 5-2, and I looked at you and I was like, this is the worst.
Yeah, we were sitting beside each other.
I was so disappointed, and then we came back, and
it was amazing.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it wasn't the most seamless, smooth game, but I'll take a comeback like that any day.
Oh, for sure. It definitely seemed like the third period we were all over them in comparison. And my favorite thing was seeing Austin Matthews' facial expression when he scored his second goal after Janssen shot at low fast pad. I was like, that's the face of the guy who definitely is happy with his team's performance, and I don't doubt it. I bet Babcock is happy with him as well.
I was happy to see Jake Muzzin get to that game. He's been in kind of I don't want to say a slump recently, but he hasn't really been performing, I guess, putting up goals wise. I mean, he's been playing. We were happy to acquire him as a good defenseman.
For sure,
I was happy to see him. Probably, I think these two goals, his mindset getting out of this sort of dry spell.
For sure, because when we traded for him, we traded a first round pick and a guy from the AHL team and a prospect. So when you trade those type of people, you're trading for like a top guy because we got him. He's a big physical guy that we can stick in front of the net on a PK.
Yeah,
I want to say that was the main goal of acquiring Jake Muzzin. So it was. I agree. It was really good seeing him be able to thrive and succeed in that game because ideally, when you trade for a top guy, you want him to perform like a top guy. So Absolutely. He hasn't been performing maybe ideally as much as we would have liked, but he really stepped it up, and I'm really liking how this team's looking going into the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so I like to think that wraps up pretty much the main news that happened in Toronto sports. So now we're going to go on to the next segment, of which I've done some research in the last few days of finding some real teams versus some fake teams that exist throughout the league. So there will be 10 total. I'm not telling you how many real, how many fake. Could be even, could be 9-1, could be whatever.
Okay.
So we will go to the first one.
Do I have to guess league as well, or
no?
I just say
no league. Just I'm going to give you the city name and the team name.
Okay.
And then you're going to have to guess. So the first team is the Traverse City Beach Bums.
The Traverse City Beach Bums?
Yes. Is that a team that exists, or is that a team that I was able to make up or find online with being a fake team?
Oh boy, they're definitely not a high-level professional league, I don't think. The Traverse City Beach Bums. They'd be more, I don't want to say hat league, but like an AHL or like a farm team. I'm going to go with Real.
You going with Real? Yeah. It's true. It's correct. It's Real. It is a minor league baseball team located in Michigan. So really? I think the reason they're called the Beach Bums is they're right by Lake Michigan, and where they're playing is right by the beach as well. So it's just Beach Bums. I wouldn't want to play on a team called the Beach Bums. But don't worry, the next team we're going after is called the Montgomery Biscuits, another team I probably wouldn't want to play for. So tell me, Ben, is that team real or is it fake?
The Montgomery Biscuits. I don't know where Montgomery is.
Yeah, but do you like biscuits?
I do like biscuits. I do. Now, is that worth guessing? Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows?
I'm gonna go with fake.
You think it's fake? You don't think the biscuits are real?
No, I think the biscuits are fake.
Well, they are real. Believe it or not, the Montgomery Biscuits.
Are they a hockey team?
No, it's another minor league baseball team located in Alabama.
Okay, I was gonna say if they're a hockey team, that makes a little more sense.
Oh, Drew biscuit with the slang, put the biscuit in the basket. I didn't think about that.
The slang for the hockey puck
exactly.
Is the biscuit, the burnt biscuit.
Okay,
so they're real.
They're real. They are. They're a minor league baseball team located in Alabama. Okay, next one. The third team, the Windy City Wildcats.
Windy City Wildcats. So, Windy City, Chicago. Wildcats.
East High.
East. That sounds a little bit. That sounds too easy. It sounds too easy. I'm gonna too. There's. It just makes way more. It makes sense for it to be fake. What's the word I'm looking for?
Do you think it's real or do you think it's fake? Feel free to play along at home.
I'm gonna say it's fake. I think it's too obvious. I think it's a bait.
Really?
I do.
Well, you're correct. It is fake. The Windy City Wildcats was actually featured in the 1996 Batman animated series.
Really?
Yeah. So I guess Gotham was facing the Windy City Wildcats in some game.
Windy City Wildcats.
Yeah, believe it or not. All right. So the next one, real or fake? I believe this is the fourth one.
All right.
Is the Conway Wampus Cats.
Conway Wampus Cats?
The Wampus Cats. Don't you know the maybe or maybe not well-known team, the Wampus Cats?
The Wampus Cats. I have never heard of the Wampus Cats. What's the city name?
Conway.
The Conway Wampus
Conway
Cats.
Wampus Cats.
What am I? Am I two for three right now?
I think you're 2 for 3 right now, yeah.
2 for 3. I'm going to go with fake.
Really?
I'm going to say fake on that one.
Believe it or not, the Conway Wampus Cats is real.
Really?
And they belong to a school in Arizona. Go Wampus Cats. It's a high school team.
Shout out to anyone playing for the Wampus Cats.
We're thinking of you guys. All right.
Crazy. All right, 2 for 2.
2 for 2. Let's see if you can pass. Get over 500.
2 for 4.
2 for 4,
2
yeah.
and 2.
The Springfield Meltdowns. Is that a real or a fake team?
Springfield Meltdowns. Springfield. I'll say true. I don't know. That just sounds.
You think true? It sounds like it could be a team name. Well, it's actually fake. The Springfield Meltdowns was featured in the episode of The Simpsons, $1 Million Abe.
Oh.
Yep.
Springfield sounded too familiar.
Yeah, I know Springfield's an actual team. I believe Massachusetts is where it is, or Tennessee. There's a real Springfield. So I was hoping I'd maybe throw you for a loop on that one.
Yeah. So they're fake.
Yes, they were fake. They were featured on an episode of The Simpsons.
All right, so I am 2
for 5.
Not good.
Well, you know what? Could be worse. Let's see if you can get it right when we're going for the Lansing Ice Wolves.
The Lansing Ice Wolves. Mm-hmm. See, funny that doesn't even sound like there's a city name associated with it.
No, Lansing is the team. Lansing is the city, and the Ice Wolves are the team.
Lansing, what a cool city name to have. Add any sort of mascot named after. The Lansing Ice Wolves.
Be a pretty sick team. Now tell me, is it a real or a fake team?
I'm gonna go with real.
Real.
I think that's a real team.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a real movie that it came from.
Oh.
Yeah, fake team. Starred Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson from the movie The Tooth Fairy. I don't know if you ever saw that. Big fan of that one where he was a fighter.
I have not seen that movie.
No, you haven't seen Dwayne Johnson's star film The Tooth Fairy, where he plays a hockey player that fights people and knocks out their teeth?
And that was his team?
That was his team, the Lansing Ice Wolves.
My goodness.
Yep, so there you go. You're really on a slide. Well, you got the first 2 right and been wrong ever since.
I thought I was going to go.
You're so confident.
I was like 50%. I got it at least.
Okay, what about the Watersmeet Nimrods?
Watersmeet Nimrods. That's gotta be...
Real? Fake? You tell me.
You know what? That's gotta be real.
You think so?
Yeah, it's so ironic.
It's too bad not to be. Well, you're correct. It is real. It has to be real. It's one of those. Yep. It's another high school team that's from Michigan. Man, I could not imagine playing for the Nimrods.
Like, man, Michigan's got some crazy names.
The Beach Bums, the Nimrods, they're just living on the edge. Okay. Up next is the New York Golden Blades.
New York Golden Blades.
Yep. Is the New York Golden Blades a real or a fake team?
I don't know. Now, it seems like they represent New York, so I don't know what professional level team, if it is professional at all, would represent New York on a level that's high enough to be the New York team, but have Golden Blades.
So, tell me, is the Golden Blades real or is it fake?
I'm going to say fake.
Believe it or not, the New York Golden Blades was a hockey team that played in the WHA, which was active in 1972. So it is real, believe it or not. Yeah.
Really?
To me it sounded like another like Batman team, right? How it was before, so it could have been. All right, so tell me, Ben, are the bedrock boulders real or fake?
The bedrock boulders? Those are 100% fake. Bedrock, that's the town from the Flintstones.
You nailed it. Bedrock Boulders was featured on an episode of the Flintstones. Even I was hoping to fool you with that one. That'd have been good, but no, nailed it.
Bedrock, is that in Colorado?
It definitely sounds like somewhere that's either in Colorado or Arizona. One of the two. All right, the last team that we're going for, real or fake? What is this for you? Are you 4 for 9? Is that right?
I'm 3 for 9.
3 for 9. Oof. So, you know, next one counts for 2 points. So, will Ben get a 50% on this real versus fake team quiz? So, tell me, are the San Francisco Skyhawks real or fake?
The San Francisco Skyhawks.
The Skyhawks.
I feel really bad if you put in like an AUDL Ultimate Team.
Oh, that would have been hilarious.
And then I got it wrong. I'd feel bad.
So maybe I did, maybe I didn't. San Francisco Skyhawks.
I'm going to go with real.
Real. Turns out you're staying at 3 for 10 because the San Francisco Skyhawks was a team that was represented in one of the old Spider-Man comics. They were a team that New York was playing. Yeah.
Dang.
All right, so 3 for 10.
3 for 10.
3 for 10 is what you finish at. So those are all the ones I have.
30%.
All right, could have been better, could have been worse. So, you know what? I'm going to take a win on this one for finding such great fake teams. Go me. Feel like a champion on that one. I will take the.
We're good. I love this.
I will take the crown that we have somewhere. We don't have a crown.
We'll find a crown.
Yeah, exactly. So that's that category. So now we're going up to next. The one I'm most excited about to see where we're going to differ or be similar at is the predicting the playoffs for. We'll start with the NHL Eastern Conference. So here we're looking at the. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we each ranked where we're close to the end of the season. There's about 13, 14 games left for each team, but we figured we'd rank from how we think the playoffs are going to turn up for the NHL and the NBA. So we'll go through the NHL first and just see where we differ and see where we compare and our reasonings for why. So where do you want to start in the NHL, David? What?
So we'll start in the Atlantic Division.
All right, Atlantic Division, Eastern Conference.
Eastern Conference Atlantic, so that's where we'll start. Because the way the playoffs work is the top 3 from each division, and then after that, it's the top 2 per conference. That's below that. So that's where we're ranked. So we'll start with 3 from the Atlantic Division. In first place, I got Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I also have Tampa Bay.
Yeah, for sure. Because it seems like they're just way too far ahead now. They're really the only team that's clinched a spot so far in the NHL to be qualifying for the playoffs, and they're just too unstoppable. Kucherov's too good. Vasilevsky's back. He's killing it. Hedman's man at the point. I feel you can't go wrong with them.
Yeah, no, they're very easy first place decision.
Yeah.
You know, they're, I would say, best team in the NHL right now.
For sure.
Without a doubt. They've got such a great team put together with all-star offense, all-star defense, and then with Vasilevsky in that, it sort of seems unfair.
Sure. I would definitely say that they're the favorites to win the cup right now. Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
sure.
would agree.
All right, so who do you have at second place in the Atlantic?
I had Boston, the Boston Bruins.
So did I.
Yeah.
I also put Boston.
I think that the Leafs and Boston will definitely play each other.
Yeah. So we could say Boston and Toronto is 2 and 3.
Yeah, 2 and 3, Boston and Toronto.
Yeah.
And I say they'll definitely play each other, but I do believe Boston will have home ice advantage. The reason I put the Leafs at 3 is they have a relatively easy road ahead for their last few games, but they're a lot less predictable than I would like them to be.
Yeah.
For example, last night's game against Ottawa.
Yeah, we're recording this on Sunday.
That's right. Yeah. I had expected that would be a relatively easy win for us, so I counted that as a relatively easy road ahead game. Yeah. However,
meanwhile,
6-2 for them. So that's what I mean. They're less predictable, so I can't count on them winning as many games as if I would to look at Boston's schedule, and I would say, they're definitely able to win some of those games a lot easier. So that's why I have Boston at 2 and Leafs at 3.
Yeah, I would totally agree. And also, I was looking more into, as well as the schedule, more into injuries and how they each have. Right now, Boston, David Pasternak's still injured, and he's definitely their top goal scorer. And I think he's hurt his thumb a month or 2 ago, so he's coming back very soon. And they're also missing Torrey Krug, another one of their defensemen, I believe.
That's right.
And Charlie McAvoy. So that's really like 3 top main guys on their team that they're missing that should be coming back pretty soon, I think. So when they do, not only will their team be playing well, but they will also be having their full lineup back and everyone be performing the abilities. So I definitely think Boston will take 2 and have Toronto be 3. I'm sure. Meanwhile, Toronto do have some injuries as well, being Gardner and I believe Kapanen's injured as well.
Yeah, he's out, which is unfortunate. He's a good part of the team.
Yeah, I love Kapanen. He's great. And so we agree 1, 2, 3 being Tampa Bay, Boston, and Toronto.
Yeah.
All right, so where do you see Metropolitan? I think Atlantic was pretty easy, I like to think. So I think here we might differ a little bit.
Yeah, I have Washington in the first seed.
Okay, so do I.
They've got a pretty solid lead already, and they haven't really shown any signs of letting up like in recent games. And they are the defending champions, and I think that they're pretty keen to defend that lead. I don't see them winning the cup this year, but I do see them getting the first seed in the Metropolitan Division.
Well, that'll come later, predicting the cup winner, so be careful with that. I totally agree with Washington coming first, right? Nobody's injured right now. They have everyone firing on all cylinders. Ovi's still been killing it. Holtby's been back there playing well. So I definitely think they've definitely turned into a well-oiled machine going into the playoffs. I think they'll definitely finish first seed.
Yeah, absolutely. Who do you have in second?
Number 2, I have Pittsburgh.
Okay, I do not.
You have the Islanders?
I have New York Islanders.
Yep, I thought so, because I don't like the Islanders right now. I'll just be honest with that, because I don't think they have the experience, and they don't have that reliable goal scorer. Meanwhile, I have Pittsburgh at 2 because they have Crosby and Malkin who can just turn it on in the end, right? I think those guys definitely have the ability to just, when they need to, get that second seed, get that home ice advantage, and just take it home. Meanwhile, Letang's been injured for this last little while, and he should be coming back in the next week or 2 as well. The only question mark I have with Pittsburgh is how good Matt Murray will be.
Yeah. No, you're right. He's been off this season.
I find at the beginning of the season he was awful. He's been getting a little bit better, but I think he's too inconsistent to really consider Pittsburgh a cup contender this year. They're gonna play well, but I don't think they're even gonna make it to the finals.
Yeah. So I have New York at number 2.
Yeah.
I almost put them first, but
oh really?
They're close with Washington, but they've got a little more of a tricky schedule left than Washington, and I do like you said, they don't have the experience. I think as like Washington's got Ovechkin and their teams, Washington's got a very very solid lineup, whereas New York teams a little younger, a little more less experience in the playoffs. But I do see them. They've been really playing well for a team that people did not expect to play well, with John Tavares leaving them. So they've stepped up this season. I do see them continuing to make that run to the second seed, and then I do have Pittsburgh at 3.
So we still have the same top 3. To second and third are swapped. To where because who's the Islanders goalie? Right, they have Thomas Greiss and they have somebody else. I'm just gonna search that up quickly. And Robin Lehner. They've been playing well this year, but when you're putting them up against the Braden Holtbys and the Matt Murrays, the more experienced guys, the more I would call skilled guys, sure, they've been playing great this season, no doubt. I remember I was looking at it, their goals against average, their save percentage, they were all really great. But I think when it comes to crunch time, I'm not sure how well they're going to be able to perform, mixed with I don't know how well Anders Lee, Jared Bailey, all these other guys are also going to be able to perform. Meanwhile, there's so many more skilled guys on the other teams.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good argument.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, we have same top 3, just different order for number 2 and 3.
Yep. So now on to the wild card.
Yeah.
For the Atlantic.
So for my first wild card spot, I have Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, I have. They've got 83 points with 69 games played. Whereas when you compare that with Columbus, who have 81 points with 70 games and 81 points with 71 games played for Montreal. Now, it's not a huge difference in points, right? It's only 2 point difference. But Carolina has been playing really well this year. Montreal also been playing well. Both teams have surprised me this season, but I do think Carolina is going to go for that first wild card spot.
Okay. And who do you have at the second wild card?
I have Montreal.
Okay, yeah. So I'm the same, but I'm swapped. I have the Canadiens at 1 and the Hurricanes at 2. My thing with the Canadiens is Carey Price, if he steps up his abilities, which I think he would be able to, then I definitely think they could roll into number 1. Because Carolina's good, right? They have Teravainen, they have Aho, and they have great defensemen.
Yeah.
Right, like Dougie Hamilton, Marshall Falk, other guys, they're great. But I still think that I think they're going to finish second. Florida will get a little bit close, but won't make it. I don't like how inconsistent Columbus can be sometimes. Yeah. So that's why I'm taking Canadians in 1. I like their defense. I like how fast and how gritty those guys are with Max Domi and Brandon Gallagher and the Canadians.
That's what I was going to say. They're a gritty team.
I like them because those would be the type of guys that you don't like playing against. So when they're fast and they're working hard, I definitely think that they could have the ability to succeed and make it into the first wild card spot. While the Hurricanes will still play well, they'll still be consistent, but they'll make it to the second one.
Yeah, so let's jump into the Western Conference then, hey?
For sure. So the Central
or Pacific?
We can start with the Central if you want. For sure. Oh, so in the first, go back to the East. Top place in the East, I'm saying is Tampa Bay. They're going to finish in first, so they would be playing the Hurricanes in my bracket. The way that works. So going into the Central Division, I have Nashville at number 1.
Oh, I do not.
Who do you have?
I have Winnipeg.
Yeah, exactly. So I like Nashville, Winnipeg. They're going to be the closest because they both made their moves at the deadline in order to try to acquire the offense to go over. With Nashville, the reason why I put them in number 1 is because I always thought their offense was what was the problem. They had Pekka Rinne in net. They have Ryan Ellis. They got PK Subban. They have these great defenders up there. So the only problem was the offense. Meanwhile, they traded for Wayne Simmons and Michael Granlund, for which they both put on the second line. And I think that's some offensive firepower that could help put them over the edge over Winnipeg.
Yeah, that is fair, right? They've Forsberg, who are playing really well this season.
Yeah, for sure.
Aside from when they were out with injuries or on the day-to-day roster, but yeah, I have Winnipeg at the top. They've got a relatively decent lead, not a huge one, but I'm surprised that they've been playing so well. I mean, there was a huge slump with Patrick Laine wasn't really performing anywhere near the level he should have been, but
for sure.
I do think that they will continue to pull together and end up with that first. So I have Nashville at 2, and these two, Nashville and Winnipeg, are far ahead of the rest of the Central Division. So I think without a doubt, it is those two finishing at the top 2 spots.
For sure. I definitely think with the Jets and the Preds, you can even flip a coin and be just as accurate as anybody else in predicting who's going to finish up top. Because I love Mark Scheifele and Blake Wheeler. I love putting that together. Dustin Byfuglien's been injured for a little bit now too, so I think he might be trying to come back in the next week or so they could even help with the push there. But I just love the depth that they acquired at the deadline. That's why I put Nashville above the Jets. But it's going to be so close. For sure.
And I like Nashville as a team. I like their players, and I think that they've got spunk.
Because I definitely think that the Jets have paved the road to come in first place because they also have two fewer games played, but they're still beating them by 1 point.
Yeah, that's right. That's something to take into account for sure.
Yeah, so I do have faith in the Preds that they're going to be able to steamroll their way through, but I also would not be surprised in the Jets coming out on top.
Yeah. So who'd you have in the 3rd seed?
In the 3rd seed, I had the Dallas.
I had Dallas as well.
Yeah. Because St. Louis is good. They've been playing much better, but I don't think that they'll be able to hold on.
Yeah, with Tarasenko's out right now.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly. That's what I was thinking.
With him gone, I don't have faith in them that they can catch Dallas.
Yeah, he hasn't. Tarasenko hasn't been playing fantastic, but he's still a key part of that team. Meanwhile, they have Binnington in net, who is someone they found this year. And Jake Allen's still playing decently okay, but I like what the Stars have been doing lately. I definitely think that ever since their owner threw them under the bus those months ago, they really set a fire into them and tried you know what, screw this guy, we're gonna win.
That they needed to step up.
Exactly. So we, for the most part, agree on the top 3 in Central. Just swap Nashville and Winnipeg.
That's right.
Sure. All right. So who do you have in the first in the Pacific?
I have Calgary.
Interesting. I have San Jose.
Yeah, I have San Jose at 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have Calgary at number 1. I think they should be able to win more of their remaining games than San Jose. I believe they have an easier schedule, and they've got a big motivation behind them to win. Right? They're like Calgary. Right? Everyone sort of throws them not under the bus, but everyone will throw them in the pile of it's just Calgary.
That's true.
Another Canadian team, but I think they've been playing well. They've got a really good young talent. Really good young talent, and I do believe that I would love to see them finish in the first seed.
I agree to where I love their talent. I love Gaudreau. I love Monahan. I love Tkachuk. Giordano's been having a Norris season. They've been playing fantastic. The only reason why I put them at 2 is their goaltending. Right? They have Mike Smith.
Fair.
Mike Smith and David Rittich aren't two guys that I would like to put my faith in as a goaltender. Right?
That's
like,
true.
sure, the Sharks, Erik Karlsson's going to be out for a while now, so that's a really big blow on their offense. And they're just, San Jose is also getting old, right? They got Jumbo Joe. He's reaching late 30s. Pavelski, he's still playing consistently, but he's getting old as well. Couture never really turned out to the star everyone thought he was going to be.
No.
But I do think that San Jose, because I think goaltending is so important. So I got a team like the Sharks passing the Flames because I don't trust Rittich or Smith.
You like Martin Jones over them.
Yeah, for sure. And stuff because I was looking at something else. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. I don't like their goalies. So who do you have at the third slot?
I have Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah, me as well. I do too.
Yeah.
I love Fleury. He's been playing great this year, and Mark Stone, they got him at the deadline, so I definitely think those two will help him stay at the third.
Yeah, I think they're far enough behind the top two that they're not catching them, but they're also far enough ahead of the remaining teams in the Pacific that there's no chance that they're being caught either. So I think the third seed's a relatively safe bet for us. At
this point in the season, they have a lot of wiggle room as well, right?
Definitely,
yeah, for sure.
So the first wild card spot. Oh yeah, we've already gone over Central and Pacific. So
that's into the wild card. Who do you have?
I have St. Louis at the first spot.
First, I have the Coyotes. Arizona.
If Arizona at the first one.
Yeah, I know. I love Arizona, right? They're a wagon, and Chicklets has been saying Biz is a fan. I'm a fan. I love Galchenyuk. I love Keller. Kemper's been playing a little bit better. Ekman Larson, he's a stud. So I'm looking at them, and I just like the way they can perform. I just like them as a team. I think they have the ability, and they have the mindset to where Arizona's never really been a fantastic team, right?
No, never.
So I think that they're wanting to prove themselves, and with the trade and getting Galchenyuk, I think they have the potential to get there well. Because they also have Derek Stepan, I believe, as well. Those top two centers are guys that I would be happy to have for a top two as well. But you put St. Louis.
I have St. Louis at first, and then I have Arizona second.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that Tarasenko's out. That's why I didn't believe they're going to catch Dallas for the third spot. But I think they're far enough ahead of the teams beneath them in the Central, but also in the Pacific, that they can I don't want to say coast, but if they sort of keep a relatively decent win rate for the rest of the season, which I believe they can do. Like they've got the pieces to be a decently performing team. I don't believe that they're like a star team or a team to really watch out for. But I do believe that if they play the rest of their, I think it's 12 or 13 remaining games well enough, then they'll coast into the first spot.
Yeah, for sure. Because right now, Tarasenko, I think, is going to be out for a little while. And David Perron, also definitely in their top 6, is going to be out. And I think St. Louis is they've been struggling a lot. Go to them, though. I think it was in January, they were at the bottom of the standings, but they were able to fight their way up, which is really good. But I just don't think they have enough points to stay safe in the wild card for sure. But I don't think they're going to be able to exceed as much as I think the Yotes will be able to come back. That's why I put them at number 1 over number 2. And I also put a note in here to say I don't think the Wild are making it straight up because Koivu and Dunbar are both hurt, and Dubnyk isn't good enough to be able to help them succeed. So they still need to fight. They're in a spot right now, and they need to fight back.
They need to fight. I don't think they're coming. They're making it this year.
No.
They lost, like you said. They lost.
Koivu and Dumbo were two guys they had out.
And Granlund.
Yeah, Granlund. They traded him.
It was good for them, but he's now playing for.
He's now in Nashville.
For Nashville. So
yeah, that's another top 6 guy that you've lost. So I think they've sort of acknowledged they aren't making it when they traded away that skilled guy trying to get some depth. That they were able to do that.
Yeah, sweet.
All right, so that's
a pretty good job of summing up.
Yeah, so I like to say we put the same teams and maybe just flipped a few spots. So I'm excited to have the playoffs be concrete. Then we'll be able to come back and make our predictions to who's winning what round.
Compare, see how we did. Yeah,
for sure. I'm excited.
Yeah, so let's move into the NBA. Something that I think this year in particular, I've been watching a little more NBA than you have.
Yeah, for sure.
You've been watching a lot more NHL than I have this year. So
that's where we have our different side knowledge. So we'll start in the East. First seed.
Milwaukee.
Yep, I put Milwaukee as well.
Yeah, I think that's pretty expected. They've already clinched, which is great. There's only 3 teams that have clinched right now: Milwaukee, Toronto, and then Golden State.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to put Milwaukee at the first seed. They've got 9 home games left and only 4 away games. Their home record is 27-5.
Wow.
So that fills me with confidence that they're gonna definitely hammer through their next 9 home games, and even their away record's not too bad. I think it's something like 25 and I don't know what it is, 25 and 6 or something.
25-12, I think is the away record. I'm looking at it now. Yeah, but still, again, they're 52-17, so they're gonna have a good ratio no matter where they're playing. But I totally agree to where I like the look of the Bucks. Giannis is playing unbelievably. Brogdon just got injured, I think, last night as well.
Really?
What I saw on Bleacher Report this morning. Yeah, so that could be a tough blow for them coming off the bench. But I like Bledsoe as well. I definitely think they're gonna stay up there because how many? Yeah, they got 3 games on them left, and I think there's about 10 or 15 remaining. They got 3 games on the Raptors. We're putting Raptors at 2, right? Can we both agree on that? Yeah, because they're so far ahead of third place to where one of them 2 is definitely going to be. They're going to be 1 and 2. But I definitely agree where I think the Bucks are going to be 1, Raps are going to be 2. I mean, who knows? If Ibaka didn't get suspended, maybe I would have put them at 1. Who knows? But that's that's the pain.
My reasoning for putting them at 2. I mean, they've clinched a spot as well. The second team in the East to clinch. And I say, although they actually have the easiest schedule in the NBA for the rest of their games since the All-Star break, they've had like the statistically easiest schedule in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
They're resting Kawhi every so often.
Yeah.
And they're also, like I said earlier, they're really trying to build chemistry with their new additions. So I think their priority, while it is also, we want to win, I don't think that they're as focused on winning as they are as prepping for the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point.
In the playoffs, they're definitely, I would argue, definitely ended up top 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that right now their focus is win. It's let's make sure that we can perform in the playoffs when we usually choke.
Yeah, well, I totally like that point because they're definitely trying to make more points into both bolstering up their front, their starters, but also maintaining a decent bench. Because I know in the playoffs especially, as we learned last year with LeBron, so one of your best players can play all game. I know Game 7 against Indiana last year, he played 48 minutes. He played all game. So if you're only playing 7 games at a time, game between, you can afford to play your players a lot more. And I like that point with the resting Kawhi as well. But also looking at the way they do the brackets, it might be even better to come in second place than first place because there we're avoiding playing maybe the Celtics or the Sixers. Something like that as well. So that's something to look into. So I think we can agree on 1 and 2. So who do you have at the 3 seed?
I have the 76ers. I think they've been playing. They acquired Tobias Harris before the trade deadline, and they got Jimmy Butler this season. And when you just look at their roster, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, like Tobias Harris, Jimmy Butler.
Mm-hmm.
They also have Boban, Mariano. He's not an all-star, but I love him as a player. He's fun to watch. But I think that 4, there's probably one I'm missing. Oh, they have JJ Redick.
Yeah, JJ Redick as well.
I like the look of that team.
Mm-hmm.
It scares me as a Raptors fan.
As it should. Yep.
So as a Raptors fan, I don't like the look of that team. But as a fan, like an NBA fan, I think that team can do really well.
Mm-hmm.
They're currently in the 3rd seed. So I don't see them going down from here.
Yeah.
Just building up that chemistry.
Yeah, no, I put the Celtics at 3 personally.
Celtics at 3.
Yeah,
really?
So I think that they have a little bit of an easier schedule. I think Gordon Hayward had a bit of a rough start, and so he's playing a little bit better. And I know there was a bit of turmoil like a few weeks ago or a month or 2 ago about Kyrie leaving, but I definitely think that chemistry is doing a little bit better, and you can never count out Brad Stevens. I really think coaching in the NBA is probably one of the most important coaching jobs, other than football, of course, that you would need in a sport. And I love Brad Stevens as a coach, so I definitely think that their depth, right there, they got Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, Gordon Hayward, Kyrie Irving, Marcus Morris, Marcus Smart. They have these guys that are good enough to be starters on other teams, but they're also able to take the bench role on the Celtics. So if they're just able to play well the rest of the season, cruise with their schedule, I think that they should be able to succeed and go to the 3rd seed.
End up in the 3rd.
That's what I think. Bold statements.
That'd be cool to see because right now I don't think they're not in the 3rd seed right now. Or
they're in 5th right now.
They're in 5th right now, and the first half of the season was honestly pretty rough for them.
Yeah, it was. But they've been playing better, and they're only really a game and a half back of the 3rd seed.
Yeah.
right now. So they're close enough to where I think they can make a push to hopefully get to the 3.
Yeah, so your 4th seed.
Fourth seed, I got the 76ers. Right, it's the exact same mindset that you had, to where Embiid's a stud. Simmons is, I don't want to say the new Magic Johnson, but he's a tall point guard that's able to just have great vision and stuff. I love the addition of Tobias Harris. That's another guard they needed. Butler's a defensive stud. So it's just, I still think they're going to be good. It'll definitely be close between the Celtics and the Sixers, between who goes where, I feel. But I think the Celtics are going to come on top, and the Sixers will be right behind them, maybe a point or two back in 4th.
Yeah, I've got the Celtics in 4th.
Yeah, so we just swapped them? No.
Yeah, I just swapped them. I was going to have the Celtics and the Pacers swapped, so 4 and 5.
Really?
But I looked into their roster a little bit more, just sort of like, you can't count them out.
No, exactly.
They've been having a rough season. There's been turmoil in the locker room. Like Kyrie's been, there's been all the drama surrounding Kyrie, but
for sure.
They've definitely seemed to gotten over it. They've gotten over that sort of dark age, you could say. And it's looking at they've got a lot of talent. They've just got so much talent on their roster, and they definitely, like you said, can put other teams' bench players to shame with their bench.
Sure. Yeah, 100%. Like, I love their depth, so that's why I put them at 3, but I definitely think that it's going to be close. So at 5th, can we agree we got the Pacers both?
We got Indiana.
Yeah, exactly. To where they're good, and I'm so happy for them to being up there, but Oladipo's been gone for a while now, and I just don't see how they're going to be able to keep it up.
Yeah, no, I think the moment he got out, all of my hopes for Indiana being a top 4 team in the East sort of went out the door.
Yeah.
He's definitely their all-star, their stud, but with him out, they've been playing, but they really are sort of on a downward sloping path ever since then. So the highest I see them ending up is 5th.
Yeah, I agree, because I like Miles Turner as a center. I do. He's gonna be good. He's still a young guy, but I just don't see it. I don't see them really even making it out of the first round.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
No, yeah. So then
number 6. Who do you have at 6?
I put the Detroit Pistons at 6.
Interesting.
Yeah, who do you put?
I have Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, yeah, because I know I debated that. I was close because I love the way D'Angelo Russell's playing this year, but I love the versatility of Blake Griffin. I know we were talking about this the other day. His ball fakes and his handles have been great. I like Andre Drummond as well.
Fantastic one the other day.
Yeah, exactly. I think we were talking about
through the legs, ended up alone in the corner.
Oh, he loves that. That's his go-to play. I've seen him do that before. But like, I just love what they're able to do. Yeah. So who do you put? You had the Nets.
I had the Nets. I think the sentence I would use to describe the Nets is like up and coming.
Yeah.
They've been playing well, and D'Angelo Russell has done nothing but impress. I think he's been a candidate. He's definitely in the candidate for most improved player. I wouldn't give it to him. As both a biased Raptors fan and also trying my best to be realistic, I would say Siakam. But we'll talk about that later on.
Yeah, for sure.
In another podcast. But I would say D'Angelo Russell playing out of his mind. I believe Spencer Dinwiddie's back.
Yeah, I know he was playing well.
I'm not sure. He had a really great start to the season before he was injured. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up 5th over the Pacers.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know I would say the same thing, because where I love the way D'Angelo Russell has been playing this year. I think it was so good of him to be able to get out of New York. When that trade first happened, I was like, oh man, that's rough. Russell got loaded to the Nets. That's awful. But I do think that was one of the best moves for his career, because he was able to get out of that environment and thrive, really, where he is now in Brooklyn. Yeah. Yeah.
So I had the Nets at 6, and then I had the Pistons at 7.
Yeah. So another time where we had them swapped, because I had the Nets at 7.
Yeah. Like you said, I love the play of Blake Griffin. He's been playing not only as just like a strict dunker and in the paint scoring guy, but he's moved himself to the perimeter. He's worked on his handles. If you just I think his 2018-2019 season highlight reel so far is almost strictly handles, crossovers, athletic layups. So
for sure,
he's playing well. I'm sad we lost Dwayne Casey as a Raptors fan to the Pistons. We have not been playing well against the Pistons.
Yeah. Well, Casey knows how everyone plays.
Matchup. That's what I'm saying. I hope we don't meet in the playoffs. I do believe the Raptors can push past them, but it is a mental barrier to get past Dwayne Casey and the Pistons.
Oh, for sure.
So I have them at 7.
Yeah, well, that's totally true, because I also do like Reggie Jackson has been type of a guy to like just be a quiet point guard that's able to be good but not really stir up any noise. So I like him playing with Drummond and Griffin, but yeah, I agree to where Nets and Pistons will be close because right now they're only 0.5 games apart. Yeah. But I think that Detroit's gonna really thrive, but it's gonna be a close one. And at 8, who do you have?
I have the Miami Heat.
Yep, me too.
Yep, I think they're a pretty almost guaranteed 8 spot.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about the Magic, and then the Hornets and any team under there is really not worrying me too much. I mean, the Magic do have the same wins, but 2 more losses. But Miami, however, Dwayne Wade was he went down hard the other day.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
So he, I don't know if he's out or not, or if he's just sort of they're going to reevaluate him or what. But I do see them going to the eighth seed.
Yeah,
Magic.
I would totally agree. I don't even know is Wade even starting for them? He might be. I don't know because I know I like Derek Jones Jr. I like Dragic. Winslow's a young guy, but if he could expand his shooting, that would be great. Whiteside's a guy I'd love to have in the paint on my team. So again, they're a decent team. They're nothing great, but I do think they'll be able to hold on to the 8th seed. Straight off the Magic. Magic, I remember last year they were great. Vucevic was playing out of his mind, but I don't really think they have what it takes this year to go past the Heat.
Yeah, no, I think they have been starting Dwayne as
Yeah, I know. I haven't really been watching much Miami Heat basketball, but I just didn't know if they'd put someone like Josh Richardson over Dion Waiters or something like that.
They're playing Josh Richardson at small forward.
Oh, interesting.
And they have Dion Waiters at shooting guard and Dwayne Wade playing point.
Oh, interesting. Is Dragic hurt?
I don't know what's up with Dragic.
Yeah, I always thought he was their number 1 point guard, but I could be wrong there.
Interesting. I might be wrong. I don't want to claim to be correct here, but I might be wrong.
All right, so now on to the Western Conference.
So generally for East, we've got a few things switched. I think we've got the 76ers and Celtics switched.
Yep.
The Nets and Pistons, and then other than that,
we're similar. So we'll have the same 8, but we have some differing opinions on that for sure.
Yeah. So the Western Conference, who's your first seed?
I mean, I'll say it's pretty obvious. I hope you put them too. I put the Warriors at number 1.
I also have the Warriors.
It's hard to go against them.
It is hard to go against them. I'm kind of tired of them winning. They have clinched. They're the only other team to clinch the playoffs thus far.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have them playing. In the first seed.
Yeah.
I had faith in the Nuggets at the beginning of the season, but just now that DeMarcus Cousins is back and playing more consistently, and no one is currently injured on that roster,
exactly.
I have no doubts they're going to finish in the first.
Yeah. One thing I even noticed after their game last night was I believe Durant sat last night. He didn't play. I don't know if it was because of an injury or because something now. They were still able to destroy whoever they played against. I forget.
I think they played Oklahoma City.
Yeah, they did play OKC. You're right. But they were just able to play so well against them to where even with Durant, they could have destroyed them. But I know a lot of people that are sort of saying like Durant's why they're able to win. Sort of Draymond Green's been falling off. Steph Curry is good. Clay can't do much else other than perimeter shoot and play some defense. Yeah, but I think we were really able to see how the Warriors can thrive without Kevin Durant, one of the best players.
Without Durant, which is scary for when the playoffs come around.
Oh, for sure.
Second seed, who do you have?
This was a tough one for me. This was definitely, when we were looking through this, it was the closest one I ever thought, but I put the Nuggets at number 2.
Okay, I have Houston.
Yeah, that was the thing. I was really debating back and forth between Houston and Denver because right now the Nuggets are 3 games up on the Rockets, right? Yeah. They're similar schedule difficulty, but if Jokic can play well, and I like Millsap, I like Jamal Murray, again, they aren't a team like the Rockets to where they have that stud of a James Harden, but Rockets don't really have much else, right? Because the reason they were doing so well is because Harden was getting over 30 points a game for, what was it, like 20-something games?
Yeah. I think it was, I want to say 31.
Yeah, something incredible like that. So the reason why I put the Nuggets at 2, this could easily flip. I think if Chris Paul steps it up and plays like his younger self, which is possible, but of course not, then I think then they will take the second. But only if Chris Paul is really able to play well. That'll be the determining factor, I like to think.
Yeah, I've got the Rockets second, just purely because Chris Paul's back, and James Harden has been having an MVP season, I know people are throwing Giannis's name in the mix, and then Paul George as well. We'll talk about him in a second, but I would definitely like James Harden. I think he's averaging somewhere around 35, 36 points.
Something crazy at this point.
Yeah. It's something ridiculous, and he's averaging 36 points a game.
Oh my gosh. That's
incredible. And yes, that's a lot of that came from when Chris Paul was out and he had to carry the load. But I think the moment anytime someone starts averaging over 36 points, you start to really need to consider.
Oh my gosh, without a doubt, even for them, we think anybody over 30 points averaging through the season is incredible, let alone 36.
Yeah. So I've got him and Chris Paul stepping up. And Capella's been playing well. But I've got them, and they've got arguably another great sixth man, Eric Gordon.
Yeah, Eric Gordon's been playing great for sure. That's I would totally agree with you with that, but it all depends on Chris Paul. That's what I'm thinking. As to where I know he's been injured, he's got some wear and tear. If he's able to stay healthy and he's able to play well, then I would definitely put them at 2.
But it's up in the air.
Yeah, that's what.
So at 3, I have Denver.
Yeah, so we have that swapped again. Who do you have at number 4?
I have the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I put the Portland Trailblazers at 4.
You have Portland at 4?
Yeah, because the one thing that popped out at me about the Thunder was how hard their schedule is. Right, they play the Warriors once, they play the Raptors twice, they play the Rockets, they play the Bucks, all these top seeds in each conference. That's who they're playing. And it all depends because I could be wrong. I don't know if Westbrook got tossed, and I don't know if he's going to get suspended because of all his technical fouls. I could be wrong on that, thinking of somebody else, but Paul George has been playing well. That's why my main faith is in the Thunder, finishing at 5, so I put them at. But you put them at 4.
I put them at 4, yeah. I think Paul George people have definitely thrown his name in the MVP race. He's been having but it's been a very, almost a quiet compared to James Harden, because it was sort of happening at the same time with James Harden on his 31 game, 30-point streak. Over 30-point streak, it's sort of hard to compare when Paul George putting up great numbers. He had a wonderful 11-game run where he had over 30 points as well, some 45-point games. But just it was sort of at the same time as James Harden, so it was a little quieter, so people really weren't latching onto it. When you look back at that, Paul George has been unreal. If he continues, I do believe they'll make the 4th seed for sure. Yeah,
because like you said, I knew Paul George was playing well. I did. I had no idea he was at 11, 12, 13, or whatever it might have been, game streaks of 30-plus. Because you hear James Harden at 25, 26 games hitting 40 points, and you're like, oh my goodness, this guy's incredible.
Yeah.
That just overshadows Paul George is playing well, because I really liked how he chose to re-sign with the Thunder instead of going to the Lakers or anything like that. Because it's the opposite KD, pretty much. You're at a team, and they have faith in you, and you should have faith in them. So I really like that move by him, to where I think the Thunder have the ability to, but I like Lillard. I like McCollum. I know Cantor's moved there as well, so that's a great backup center to have there behind Nurkic.
Nurkic is playing.
Exactly. Nurkic is great on the offense as well to have. So I just like that all-around squad to have them up there at 4.
Yeah. So at your 5th seed, who do you have?
50th, I put the Thunder. So I did swap them back and forth like that.
I have the Spurs.
Really? You don't even have the Blazers at 5. I was shocked.
Yeah, no, I have Blazers at 6. I have the Spurs. They are currently on an 8-game win streak, which I know won't continue on forever. Their second half of the season has been good, and I believe that behind the leadership of Greg Popovich, who is arguably one of the greatest NBA coaches of all time, probably behind Phil Jackson, but yeah, I would say behind the leadership of Greg Popovich, they've got actually quite an experienced roster. I'm hoping DeRozan can step it up for them recently. Rudy Gay's been playing really well this season. I really like the way he's been playing. LaMarcus Aldridge having a fantastic season. I believe that as it comes to crunch time for them, they'll step it up and they'll get to that 5th seed. It's a bold prediction, I know.
No, but I love it. I love the bold prediction because I love their bench. I do.
They've got and Patty Mills. Patty Mills is playing well too.
Yeah, for sure.
I know I say that about everyone. It really seems like people are having great seasons. So I have them at 5.
Yeah, bold. Because for me at least, I know I got Portland at 4, Thunder at 5, Spurs at 6. So who do you have at 6? Do you have the Blazers?
I have Portland. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess so those three are pretty much the most swapped that we have. I do like the Spurs. I don't know how I feel about DeRozan in crunch time. I hope that he succeeds. I wish the best for him. I like Aldridge. He's getting older. I love Patty Mills. I love Bellinelli. He's a guy that can just knock it down. Rudy Gay's pretty good. DeJounte Murray's a young guy that's getting better, but wow, I just don't see them playing better than Portland.
Yeah, Portland has been playing well, especially with like Damian Lillard. I love the backcourt of Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum.
Mm-hmm.
They're both very similar play styles. I think Lillard's a little bit more of like a rim finisher, but they can both knock down threes all day and
for sure
play a very similar backcourt style. So
yeah,
love the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah. I remember, I don't know if it would have been a few years ago, there was a big comparison between John Wall, Bradley Beal versus Lillard and McCollum, and I definitely think in recent time, without a doubt, Lillard and McCollum have become a more successful duo.
Absolutely. Yeah, like John Wall is. I don't even think he's playing.
No, he like tore his Achilles or something.
Yeah, he had a tore his Achilles. Not even playing, just walking around the house apparently. But Bradley Beal's been backpacking for them. But the Wizards are not anywhere close.
No chance. All right, so who do you got at 7 and 8?
7, I have the Clippers.
Yep, so do I.
They've been playing extremely well for the first half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Less so in the second half, per my opinion.
Yeah,
I think they can bring it. Like, definitely will get that 7 seed for sure. They acquired Zubac from the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
That'll promise well in the long run. I don't think he's as experienced right now to really take them anywhere, but in the long run, that'll really pay off well. And I think Montrezl Harrell's been playing extremely well.
Yeah, I definitely like the way that the Clippers have been playing some team basketball, right? They've lost their stud in Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Chris Paul. That whole Lob City era is done. But I really like the way that they're able to just work and gel as a team. They don't need that one superstar to be able to succeed.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Yeah. Sorry, so who do you have at 8?
At 8, I have the Utah Jazz.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, they've Donovan Mitchell. I wish he was playing as well as he did last season.
Yeah,
I think he deserved the Rookie of the Year last year
over Ben Simmons.
Over Ben Simmons. I think they've got a good team with Joe Ingles and Kyle Korver, the Splash Uncles.
I love that.
They like to call themselves as the old guys that can knock down threes, but I think they're a pretty safe bet for the 8th seed. Nothing too much special there. Not a whole lot to say about them.
Yeah, I would totally agree. The sophomore slump Mitchell's going through right now is a little rough. I love the rim protecting Gobert, and again, the Splash Uncles, as you call them, I love it. is a group that hopefully could help them succeed while Mitchell's driving, kick it out to them or something like that. But I don't really think they'll be able to stay the 8th.
Yeah, 8th seed seems safe for me.
Yeah, as well. I totally agree. All right, so I like to think that was the most swapped we've had out of the 3 Blazers, Thunder, Spurs. We had all mixed up.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what it'll end up as.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Spurs.
Yeah, I know. I'm hoping for it. All right, well, we're running a little bit more overtime than originally expected, but I'd say that wraps it up for generally what we were talking about today.
Yeah, we covered what our predictions are for the playoff standings for both the NBA and the NHL. I failed at guessing some real or fake sports teams' names, and then we provided a little bit of news for the recent Toronto sports, I guess, news that's been going on with the Morgan Rielly allegations, as well as the Serge Ibaka suspension. Thanks everybody for listening to the podcast. We're super excited to be able to record this first one. We'll definitely be doing our very best to provide the best content we can. If you like what you heard, then please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts. Check out our YouTube channel. There you can suggest any topics or ideas if you want to discuss. If you want us to discuss on future episodes, be sure to follow us on Instagram at the BinkCast Podcast, at David D. Rogers, and at Ben Dutch Austin. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah, see ya. Thanks.